What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir, and for today's video, I want to talk about a Woj bomb that just came out a few hours ago. It's not really a Woj bomb, but Woj was interviewed. He was on TV today, and he basically gave an update around the latest surrounding the Damian Lillard trade sweepstakes. So trade talks involving Miami Heat target Damian Lillard have appeared to be picking up again. And so ESPN's insider Woj said he thinks that the Portland Trailblazers have been in communication with a lot of teams about facilitating a deal with the start of training camp. We've seen all these reports saying the Heat and the Blazers are eventually going to negotiate once it gets closer to camp, which is October 2nd. And so Woj also said, my sense is that the Blazers have done a lot more talking with teams in the last, say, 10 to 14 days than they did probably in at least a month plus prior. And a big part of that is that the league is back to work now after Labor Day, and training camp is starting to approach, and that's the next real deadline in this process. But I think Portland, what they've been trying to do is see how they could put together multi-team deals that would get them the assets that they would want: draft picks, young players. There might be a team that their best asset is a veteran player that doesn't interest the Blazers, but there's a third team who might want to take on that veteran and then send, whether it's a young player or picks, in part to Portland. So I think they've been in communication with a lot of teams trying to find a structure of a deal that can get them a Damian Lillard trade. We'll see now how much traction they can get between now and the start of camp. Of course, Woj, Portland's mouthpiece, Cronin's puppet, basically did not even mention the Heat specifically, which I think is pretty funny. So if I decipher this, because no other teams have shown interest, have come to the table with any other offers or any package for Damian Lillard besides the Miami Heat, for all the same reasons why I've said on 100 different videos. But if that young asset they want is from the Heat, then of course they want Hawkes, they want Jovic. If it's a veteran, then I'm assuming, I guess, Tyler Hero, kind of a veteran, going into his fourth year. If they don't want that veteran, they can send him to a third team and get a young player or picks from that third team. So nothing new there. We already have seen what the framework is of what the Miami Heat were willing to offer based on what the Portland Trailblazers wanted. They didn't give them enough, obviously, and lowballed them, naturally, because they're the only team that's put in an offer so far. So again, for the millionth time, they're not bidding against themselves. So nothing new there. Reports have said even a month or two ago that it might take 3 to 4 teams to get a deal done because of Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is the best trade piece that the Miami has to offer, but they have a crowded backcourt of young talent, so they don't need Tyler Hero. So they'd rather have a draft pick or hypothetically young players. If they can trade Hero to another team, get some young wing or centers, essentially, because they don't really have any big men. They're trying to get rid of Nurkic. He doesn't really fit the timeline anymore of Scoot and all the other younger players. So nothing new here. I just think it's funny that they're talking about a multi-team deal is the best way to get this done, and they're talking to many teams. They're trying to make it sound like they're trying to talk to many teams so that the other teams can acquire Damian Lillard. They're not mentioning that they're working with other teams to see if they can get the assets, because Miami's not offering enough. They want to see if they can get more via a third team trade so that Dame can go to Miami. They left that part out. So Woj specifically did not say that. Is that intentional? Probably. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to save face for Cronin, who's been in denial this whole summer, thinking that he was going to get a better offer or have Dame come back and say that he's willing to play for another team, so that way that Miami loses their leverage and that they'd have to throw in another player like a Caleb Martin. We all know that Dame wants to play for the Heat because of Bam Adebayo. He wants to play with Jimmy, but he also wants to play with Caleb Martin. And so reports have said that the Heat are not willing to trade Caleb Martin. And so we already know that this is just Cronin trying to save face because he's not able to get another team to make a bid where Miami has to throw in a Caleb Martin. They don't have to at this point because there's no one else to bid against. There's no reason for Portland to keep Damian Lillard. They don't want him to play because if their focus is young players and draft picks, let the young players blossom and develop. Get a Jaime Hawkes and Jovic and let them play with Scoot and Sharp and Simons and figure it out and let them lose so they can get another high lottery draft pick, like a top 3 or 4 or 5 pick, like the Houston Rockets have been doing and the Thunder have been doing. Why would they even want Damian Lillard to play? If he gets hurt, then they're screwed. They're not going to be able to trade him. If he sits out, then there's no leverage. They have no leverage because Dame is sitting out. They're just losing and just not being able to integrate young players that the Miami Heat are willing to offer into their system. So they're just going to be sitting there in purgatory. So it doesn't make sense. And then also, why play Dame? Because you don't want to, again, win so that you do get a worse pick. You don't want to get 5-10 extra wins with Damian Lillard. You want to freaking tank so that you get a better draft pick. And also, if you have Damian Lillard, those other future picks that you're going to be getting are also not going to be that great. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a real Woj bomb, but I like the progress, I guess. I like the fact that there's reports saying that the teams are actually communicating, and Portland is more engaged and focused because they already understand that they do need to get this deal done before camp, before the season starts, because they want Scoot Henderson, their future of the organization, to not be looking over his shoulder or questioning his role with the team with Damian Lillard still on the roster during the regular season. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this report? Do you think a deal is going to be done before training camp, or do you think it's going to go into the season? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks, guys.